What is my card going to be worth 2 weeks from now? What is my card going to be worth after dinner tonight? That's not investing. That is not investing. That is short-term speculation.
In a world full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, grading, selling, buying, one card game remains supreme. One man has the insights you need to know. Watch and subscribe now. Yu-Gi-Oh Tube.
When this card market crashes and you all hoarders are stuck with your investments in 2020, I can't wait to see you lose all your money and assets. I can't wait to see everyone panic and worry and just wonder why these cards just drop so much in price. Here's reasons, Tim, why I think that the Yu-Gi-Oh economy is going to crash in 2020. Well, folks, this video is going to get into a lot of different things, especially the trading card market, the economy, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon even will be discussed. And, let's be honest here. If you can predict accurately when a market is going to collapse, you are be considered a god. You are a god. You are a unhuman alien psychic being, right? And there's been a reason why in the regular stock market that nobody has been able to accurately predict any sort of ups or downs in the market. For so long, we've been hearing, the economy has been on a nice upturn since 2012. It's bound for another recession soon, even if it's minor. We see it on CNBC. We see it on Fox. We see it on MSN Money. We see it all over the internet. Here's the reason why we're going to be a recession in 2016, in 2018, in 2019. And that never happened, right? So people trying to predict these things, people trying to predict interest rates, nobody can do it. If someone can do it, they'd be the richest man on the planet Earth, or woman. But let's be honest, nobody can do it. And people saying that, because Yu-Gi-Oh's been on such an upturn for a year, it's been 30% growth month over month, 40% growth month over month. We're seeing gains that are just out of control. So because of this reason, the market is going to collapse. This balloon, this bubble is going to burst. Well, here's one thing. You flip a coin 10 times. It comes out heads 10 times. Does that make the probability of tails on the 11th flip any greater? Ask yourself that. Does this growth in Yu-Gi-Oh! Month over month, does that mean, just because we're seeing just wildly rapid growth, does that mean that it's going to have to go down because it's simply due? Well, statistically, no. There's this wave that's going up and up and up. And look, do I believe that Yu-Gi-Oh! Will plateau and decline? Of course. But I can't tell you when that's going to happen. I can't tell you how long this wave we're on is going to be active. I can't tell you that. When? So for people giving exact times of when we're going to see a flat line or a decline is out of control. Absolutely out of control. Do I think that we're going to continue on this monumental growth? No. Because, it has been unsustainable growth. But I can't tell you when it's going to stop. But we all have to realize here, folks, that it is going to stop, right? And the people investing in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, okay? You're investing, right? You're investing. You're looking at this investment 10, 15, 20 years from now. You're not looking at these cards saying, what is my card going to be worth 3 months from now? What is my card going to be worth 2 weeks from now? What is my card going to be worth after dinner tonight? That's not investing. That is not investing. That is short-term speculation. Investing is riding through the diverse ups and downs and ups and downs and the trends that go up and down and riding through those waves, because that's what long-term investing is. You are riding the waves. There's going to be ups and downs, no matter however you say it, ups and downs. But overall, in the long run, these assets should appreciate in value. Just like the stock market, we see growth over the last 40, 50 years on the stock market, including the depression, including the recession that we had in 2012 or 2008, I should say. Including all of that, as a whole, if you took the average year over year number on the stock market, it has always gone positive over the last 40 years when you combine all 40 years. So what I'm saying here, folks, is there's going to be massive dips. There's going to be massive spikes like what we're on now in Yugioh. But at the end of the day, holding long term is the ideal solution, and that is why it is an investment. It's not a speculative buy. It's not, I'm going to buy it now and hope that in a month it's going to be worth double what I bought it at. That is crazy, risky, volatile insanity of an investment. That's what it is, because it's not an investment, folks. It's a speculation. And when you hear the stories of people taking out credit cards and putting themselves in debt for an APR of 8%, you're trying to beat your own APR. You're trying to say, oh my God, now I only have a year to make up my 8% that I just took out for. It's insane. To do something like this is absolutely insane. Okay? You're betting on a short time span that nobody's able to predict. Long run, yeah, it's fairly obvious. A lot of these sports cards, or non-sport cards as well, barring some technological advances that can replicate the exact feel in the card itself, or a PSA grading collapse, or some sort of robot that can grade cards, which could happen. You don't know, but that's a separate video. Some sort of catastrophic event that changes the entire industry. That's the only concern you have. But overall, in the long run, it's a pretty safe bet. And by long run, I mean 10 to 20 years. You know, how many more first edition printings of cards of Jinzo, right? How many more first edition printings are there going to be on the market 10 years from now? Here's the thing, the great thing about cards. The great thing about cards is they're always drying up on the market. The supply is always dwindling. And yes, there's going to be a guy that says, oh, here's my 20 LOB boxes. Here's my 40 LOB boxes on the market. But over time, that's going to diminish over time, right? It might cause a short decline. You might find of someone that says, I have 20 Yugiohs in PSA 10. I own the entire market. But guess what? Over time, that is going to diminish. Or you have someone with a binder full of injection fairy lilies, and they say, look at all these cards that I have. So boom, of course, naturally, the card's going to drop in value. But again, 10, 20 years from now, those anomalies are simply going to be non-existent. Okay? Because you're investing in the long run. The market, of course, will dip. Of course, will plateau. I can't tell you when it will. I'm enjoying the wave, this ride. But of course it's going to. You'd be dumb to say forever and infinity and beyond that Yu-Gi-Oh cards will continue to rise in price. It's out of your mind. You can't even think that way, because that's just not it's illogical. And with Pokemon, for example, everyone says, oh my gosh, look at how low Pokemon went. Pokemon really took a steep decline. But right now, I'd say it's a buyer's market for Pokemon. You look at the staples. Let's say you're investing into Blue Eyes White Dragons, into anything LOB, into any boxes like that. Of course, those are safer investments. The main cards, the main set, the mantles of baseball have never really took a steep decline. Wayne Gretzky's of hockey, the LeBrons, the Jordans have never seen a massive drop because the demand for those cards are so high, right? So even if the entire industry, the entire market collapses and Yu-Gi-Oh goes on just burning down, collapses, 30% losses, these higher end cards, Dark Magician Girls and Blue Eyes White Dragons, will not see that crazy dip. And even if they see that dip, if Blue Eyes goes from 9,000 to 6,000, if Dark Magician Girl goes down to 2,000, where were you a year ago when Blue Eyes was 800? Where were you a year ago when Dark Magician Girl was 600 for PSA 10s? You're still over the 2-year span seeing massive gains. So you're already ahead of the game. And if you hold for the long run, you're just going to make out fine. Especially with dwindling supply out there. You know? So this whole idea of it's going to crash, when it crashes, here's why it's going to crash. You can't predict when there's going to be a crash, A. You can't predict how low it's going to go, B. And thirdly, if you're in it for the long run, you're okay. Breathe. The people who took losses on Charizard cards will be fine 10 to 20 years from now. Yeah, did Shadow... And you notice even with the big drop in Pokemon, first edition base set has just gone up. Charizard. Shadowless Charizard, maybe a 10% decline, down to what, $15,000 instead of $17,000. I mean, when you compare that to some of these other cards, you're seeing 50% declines. With Charizard, you're seeing 10-20% declines. And yeah, Skyridge and Crystal Charizard, somewhat different story, but that growth was crazy. But still, the people buying the Crystal Charizards now are making a good buy because they're investing on the low, and they're saying in the long run, this will go back up and exceed what it was during that massive growth. And so everybody, just take a step back, have a cigar, take a thing of scotch, pour yourself a glass, and just put your feet up and relax. That's all we need to do. If you're in it for the short run, if you're saying within a year I need this much back on my investments, you are making such a risky move that's probably going to end up killing you. Because you have to have the expectation of in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, this is what I expect my investment to be. Not in 1 year. Because you don't know what can happen in only 1 year. It sounds like a long time to a lot of people for whatever reason, but 1 year is a very, very short, narrow time span. So yes, in recap, I do think that Pokemon or that Yu-Gi-Oh will eventually plateau and decline. I can't tell you when. I can't tell you how low. But here's another thing. The fact that so many people think that this is unsustainable growth means everyone already is prepared for a plateau and a decline in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. And if everyone is prepared for it, it will lessen the blow because it's not something that came out of nowhere. Nobody's going to say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that Yu-Gi-Oh took this massive hit. Nobody is going to say that. Instead, we all have this idea of we know it's never going to keep increasing this high for this long. It's just a matter of when. And when it happens, we will be prepared. And there's no reason to worry over the very long term. Until next time, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tube, signing out.